Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tammaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. Nice to see all of you. Welcome to session 5 of our series of seminars aimed at unraveling the secrets to eternal happiness. Before we begin today's class, we would first like to know if anyone is come for the first time to this program. You can raise your hand. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 3 of you. Okay. So what we'll do is, so that's a introduction methodology, if you like. Just a guideline. So your name, how many years you lived in Melbourne, what do you do, your profession, occupation, who have you come with, if it's relatives or friends, and then a single sentence of what you expect from this seminar. So we'll go with you first.
Prabhuji, my name is Udata and I'm in Melbourne from last around 12-13 years. And I'm a medical receptionist by profession, and I'm come with my kids and my mother-in-law.
Where is your mother-in-law? Okay, namaste.
And my aim is to know and to understand Gita so that I can learn, and I can not only learning, more understanding, and how we can live our life with Gita.
Applying it in your life. Yeah. Very nice. Good aim. Thank you. Welcome, Noor Raji. And welcome to your mother as well. Would she like to speak anything or?
She speaks
सब तो है. ठीक है, हिंदी में बोलिए आप. आपका शुभ नाम, आप कब मेलबर्न में आए, and
I think she's not comfortable.
Not comfortable, then okay. So you would like to talk something about her?
Her name is Mrs. Krishna Tyagi.
Okay.
And they are here from last, I think, 5-6 months, and she also loves. She has like Thakurji from last 25 years, and she's a Krishna devotee, and she also loves to learn about Krishna, Gita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. All right. Hare Krishna.
My name is Chaya, and I'm in Melbourne since 2006. I came here alone.
Okay. So what do you do for a...
I'm not sure what's my aim from this class.
You come with an open mind.
Yes.
Okay.
At least for today, and then I will decide.
All right. Okay. Hopefully you'll decide to come back and not run away.
No.
Okay. So how did you come?
I can say that just to find internal peace.
Okay, good. That's what we are all aiming through these programs. All right. Thank you for coming to this program. How did you come to know about this program?
One of my friends, she's coming here regularly.
Is she here?
Not yet.
Okay, she trapped you and she escaped.
No, her name is Monica. She said she will be coming with her family.
All right, okay. So we'll wait for Monica ji. Thank you. Welcome. Anyone else? Okay, so we are awaiting all the other regular people. Okay, all right. Fair enough. So very quickly, okay. I'm going to go really fast. Okay, every week I'm going to crash the time for recap because, and for others, I think it will be by heart for you, which is good, which is in one sense the aim. Okay. So here we are trying to systematically go through the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, okay, so that you can practically apply it in your life, as you are saying. No? Knowledge, when it is not applied, is useless. It's only on paper. So Bhagavad Gita is not an armchair philosophy. Bhagavad Gita is something which one can practically apply and one can actually see the benefits of it. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 2, it's a beautiful verse. It says, Raja Vidya Raja Gohyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. What that means is, Bhagavad Gita teachings, when applied, then it will actually help us be very blissful, and it will help us overcome the challenges of life. Otherwise, the challenges of life are very difficult to surmount. By our own willpower, sometimes we are just not there. Life can give so many challenges that we get bewildered, right? But this basically sustains our lives, this knowledge. Of course, it's not just about sustaining the labor of material existence. It opens the door to eternal happiness. How is something that we will see in the various sessions. But for now, we are building in this program concept by concept by concept. Okay. So my humble request would be for you all to come slightly in front. Otherwise, I feel very alienated. Unless you have a very, very compelling reason to go right behind and sit. All right. Am I audible to you, Prabhuji? Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone behind you also? Because I can't see that person. I have lost that person already in the program. If I can't have eye contact with you, that means I have lost you. Is there anyone behind that wall that I am not seeing? No. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So these are some of the questions that we hope to answer during these seminars. A sample of this is what is real religion? What is the goal of religion? Why religion creates problems? Does God exist, which we will discuss today? What happens after death? Why is there so much suffering in this world if God is there? Is there a permanent solution? What is heaven, hell? People talk about all these things, right? What is it? Is it a place or is it just a state of existence? And then why do bad things happen to good people? People have these kind of questions. So a lot of these questions will get answered. Does God have a form or is he formless? Right? Is God light or is he a personality? So these kind of questions have intrigued us for quite some time. At least it did intrigue me. We talked in the earlier sessions about various aspects of happiness. Happiness which we get in this material world. Hare Krishna. Happiness of this material world, we discussed, is short-lived, is very intermittent. It comes and goes. It often comes at a very heavy price. This recap is for people who have come for the first time. Okay, the others know it. So people who have come for the first time, you may listen to it with extra care so that you don't miss anything. If you have come for the first time, please pay a lot of attention because others have already heard this. So happiness is short-lived, intermittent. It comes at a price. Happiness is often relative. We depend on our happiness. Our happiness depends on someone else's happiness. So it's relative. Happiness is often sought in things which will not give us happiness. We seek it in the wrong places. So that's why we say happiness is sought in fallible things. Happiness is also often deferred to the future. I'll work very hard today, so tomorrow I can be happy. And that way we keep on chasing the mirage of happiness. Right? And happiness is often equated with fulfillment of material desires. So if I get a promotion in office, if I make some more, if in this quarter I have made more business than last quarter, then I use that as a lever of my happiness, right? So we concluded in the previous sessions that happiness in this world is neither eternal nor absolute. When you say absolute means it's relative, and it's eternal, not eternal because it's temporary. It comes and it goes. We discussed answers to 4 questions. What is it that we are all fundamentally seeking in our lives? We discussed all this in the previous sessions, therefore I am going fast. And then we concluded that what we are seeking is to be always happy. It's a very simple answer, right? There's no complicated answer in this. We all are seeking to be always happy without any miseries, right? That's why we say eternal happiness. That's our quest. It's the quest of human existence. Then we talked about who really am I? Because if we are seeking eternal happiness, then who are we? we concluded that we are eternal spirit soul. We are not this body. And we did several role plays. And we discussed a lot of examples to substantiate this point that we are not this body. Whereas we are the tenant who is staying inside this body. We are the resident of this body, but we are not this body. Just like you are not your ear. आप आपका कान नहीं हो. आपका नाक नहीं हो. You are not your ear, you are not your nose. So who does the ear and nose belong to? That is the real you. Who is saying that this is mine? That person who's speaking, that person is you. And that person is not your mouth, because your mouth is not speaking. You are deciding to speak. And your mouth is just a medium for you to voice your thoughts in the form of words. So who is that you? If you go inside and deeply search, you will come to an answer saying that this is not mine, this is me, and that is you. So that is that real eternal spirit soul. And why we use the word eternal spirit soul? Because what is death? Death is nothing but just like if you are renting an apartment. When the lease expires, then we move out of one apartment and go to another apartment. So this body is like an apartment. So death simply means that the tenant, which is the soul, which is we come out of this body and then we go somewhere else. Now where we go to, whether we are never born again, or whether we are born as a dog or a hog or as a peacock or as a human being, and where we are born. Are we born in Australia? Are we born in Pakistan? Are we born in Syria? Are we born in Egypt? Are we born in USA? Are we born in Switzerland? It depends on many things, right? So there is some science to all these things. But we are eternal. The soul cannot be killed by a sword. The soul cannot be set fire to, and then, because the soul is energy. Energy is never destroyed, right? Then we asked everyone, what kind of life would you like in the next, if you were to be born again, in the next lifetime, who would you like to be born as? Most of us want to be, at least if it's another lifetime, we want to be born as a human being. Rarely in any of the programs which we have been doing since the last 20 years, no one said, I want to be born as a donkey in my next lifetime. No one said that, frankly. Even if they have said that, it may be joke, but really nobody will go and say that, can you please give me a donkey's body, right? Nobody will ask for that, right? But the question is, can we get the body of a donkey? Possibly, right? In that context, we talked about what is the probability that in the next lifetime we will get a human birth. And we concluded arithmetically that the chances of becoming born as a human being in the next lifetime is literally zero, right? Why? Because the probability depends on numerator and denominator. Numerator was the human population and denominator was all the animal species plus the population of each species. There are 8.7 million species in this world, and even ant is one of them, and there are 3 trillion billion ants. Some scientists concluded just now, recently, right? It was there in the Age newspaper. Something like that, some big number of ants. So therefore, if you see, they are also moving, they are also reproducing, they are also eating, they also have families, right? And we also are doing the same thing. So what is the probability of human form of life? 7 billion divided by this infinite number, which is literally very rare to get a human form of life, right? Besides, we also discussed that the Bhagavad Gita says that the Vedas say that we have evolved through several animal species to get this rare human birth, right? And in that context, we talked about what is the speciality of this human form of life. Because we got this human form of life, what should we do? And what did we conclude? If we use this human form of life simply to live like animals, to eat, to sleep, to unite with the opposite sex, okay, and then to defend ourselves, right, and our false egos. If we simply use our human form of life, rare human form of life for this purpose, then we will not beget, we will lose our human form of life. Who says this? I am not saying this. Bhagavad Gita says that, right? So, this human form of life is the only form of life where we get higher intelligence to do self-inquiry. We discussed that animals do never come together to discuss what is the goal of life. That prerogative is only possible. That's only human being who can do that, right? Then we talked about what are the basic problems, what are the real problems of life, and we talked about the characteristics of a real problem. Was it the last class? Yes. For a problem to be a real problem, that problem has to be common to all. If it's a problem only for you, I'll say it's not my problem, it's your problem, right? So it's not a real problem. So in the previous class, we talked about the real problems of life. For a problem to be called as a real problem, okay, that problem has to be common to all. It has to be a universal problem. Nobody should want it for themselves or their loved ones. Then it's a real problem. And then, whether you want it or whether you don't want it, we can't do a damn about it. Then that's a real problem. Right? So we talked about this. And after that we had a discussion and we concluded that what are the real problems of life which inhibit our eternal happiness. We want to be always happy, but these problems come in the way of that. What are those? Birth, disease, old age, death. These are 4 problems. If you have read even Gautam Buddha's philosophy, he saw all these and he said, oh my goodness, I want to attain nirvana. He said. So he saw all these miseries on the battlefield. People just lying, corpses lying here and there. No? So, birth, disease, old age and death. Janma, Vyadi, Jara and Mrityu. That's Sanskrit language for you. Okay. Now to top that, there are 3 more which are man-made. What are those? Or which are not created really by God in one sense, but which are ordained for various reasons. We'll talk about that little bit later. When we talk about nature of human beings, we'll have a specific topic. We'll do 1 or 2 sessions only on nature of people, right? And we will even discuss personality types over there. Okay. But for now, what are the 3 additional miseries? Miseries which are caused by one's own body and mind, right? And which even today we all know that mental illness is predicted to be going to be the biggest killer of people in Kali Yuga, in the age and times that we live in today, right? So, misery is because of one's own body and mind, which is called in Sanskrit as Adhyatmik Klesh, Adhyatmik misery. Miseries which are caused by other living entities. Even if you go to office and say that I am going to just do my job and come out, I am not going to engage in politics, somebody will drag us in. What do you think about Mr. David over there? I think he's a good man, but sometimes he really loses his temper. You know, Mr. David, I was just talking to this lady this morning. She said, you are a good man, but sometimes she gets irritated when you lose your temper. Did you know that, Mr. David? Did she tell that about me? Ooh, gone. Your relationship is gone, right? So this is called that sometimes misery is created by others. This is a simple example. But we gave certain crude examples also. The World Trade Center, right? What is it called? 9/11 attacks. Misery is caused by some other living entities, unnecessarily causing trouble in society, right? So is this going to stop? Is there someone, is that Robin Hood who is going to come and then everything will be peaceful in this world? We'll see. We'll see that in a future session. Right? Natural disturbances. If people don't get you, nature gets you. We saw 2 days back in the newspaper, yesterday's newspaper itself. How is it like to be told that all of us have to leave Altona Meadows? Leave your homes and run. How does it sound? As long as it is some other suburb, we are okay. It's only news. When it happens in our life, it's no longer news. Right? Can it happen? Yes, possible. Very much possible. Our assets can be finished just like that. Right? So, we concluded that this material world, if we try to make this material world a permanent residence, it's not a very palatable place for a long-term plan. In this material world, we should not make a long-term plan to live happily ever after. Right? We will discuss what are the predictions of the scriptures about this material world. Once you hear that, probably your attendance in this class will be more regular than now. Some of you may have just come to see. देखते हैं क्या होता है इस प्रोग्राम में, क्या बोलता है, what this fellow is saying. We'll go and see. We'll try one class. After that, if he's bored, we'll not attend. We will do something else. Anyway, what's wrong? Just 2 hours of my time I lose in my life. Many of you have come. When I went first time, I also went that way only. I'll just see what this bloke has to say. Maybe something. Let's go. Maybe I'll please my friend. I'll go for one class. Otherwise, she'll feel bad that I called you for a program, you didn't come. But I'll see. If I get value, I'll sit. Okay. You'll see what it is. Right? Natural disturbances. We talked, what did we conclude? That these are the problems to eternal happiness. And then what did we conclude? We talked about, we talked about how technology addresses these problems. Okay? How does technology address these problems? We discussed that technology does not provide solutions to these real problems of life. Right? What technology does is, it offers temporary solutions. Okay, to the symptoms of the problems. And in doing so, what it does, it gives us newer problems. Right? None of you will dispute the problems because of technology. We are not saying technology is not useful, but the misuse of technology has created so many problems, right? Newer problems which weren't there before, right? One of my friends was telling me his son is getting epileptic fits, and when he went to the doctors have concluded it is because of that. What is that called as? Game. What is that game called as? Some specific game that he was talking to. GTA. GTA. No, there's some other game he said, which is nonsense game. What is that? Our children may not agree, but yeah.
Call of Duty.
Not Call of Duty. Something else. Some two else. Pub something. Yeah, pub. Whatever. I don't know what that is. Yeah, whatever that pub is. Right. So. Okay. Presenter view. Oh, presenter view. When I click, it says see plans. First month is free. What do I do? How do I? Oh, okay, good. I've learnt. Okay. So, what did we discuss? What is the goal of human life? We are eternal, which means our existence is going to continue beyond this lifetime. Please understand this conclusion. We are going in the sequence in which Bhagavad Gita is going. In the Bhagavad Gita, where are they? Are they sitting in some office? Are they sitting in docklands and discussing God and his disciple? No, they are not discussing. They are actually in a battlefield, right? This was spoken in a battlefield, right? So Arjun is telling Krishna, I don't know what to do. I don't know what is my duty. People who have molested or misbehaved with my wife, they are my own people, my own cousins have molested my wife. They are sitting on the opposite side. And my own teacher who has taught me is a mute spectator on the opposite side. And he is also willing to fight against me. Right? Having seen the molestation of my wife. Right? This is the scenario in Bhagavad Gita. So he is asking the Lord, should I pardon them? Or should I run away from the battlefield? Or should I fight? Okay, it's a big question, right? Because his own people are on the opposite side. And then in that situation, Lord Krishna is explaining the science of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Arjuna actually knew Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not for Arjuna. It is a pastime of the Lord so that all of us can hear this. It's for us. We are in the battlefield of this material world. We are fighting all these problems. Birth, disease, old age, death. Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik and Adi Daivika Klesh. Misery is because of one's own body and mind, because of other living entities and because of natural disasters. Anything can happen anytime. So therefore, Lord Krishna at the very outset is telling Arjun that you are not the body, you are spirit soul. So you should not think short term. A strategist always thinks long term. An intelligent person thinks long term. Short term vision means what? I feel a desire for union with the opposite sex. So let me go somewhere and then have that union. And then what happens? People get AIDS after that. Right? And then they think, oh my God, I couldn't control my senses. I went there and my life is finished, doctor is saying. So this is how your mind can drive you to some stupid decision in your life. The mind is extremely, extremely dangerous. So unless we can tame this mind. You know what's taming, right? Like in a circus, the ringmaster tames that ferocious lion, right? He tames it. Shh, sit quiet now. I am in control, not you, right? I'll give you an example in Hindi and I'll translate in English for you. Okay. Someone said, मैं अपने मर्जी का मालिक हूं, जो मन बोलता है वो कर डालता हूं मैं. I am the master of my mind. Whatever my mind demands, I do it. I am the master of my mind. Now replace it with a husband saying, right? I am the master of this house. Whatever my wife tells, I do it. How does that sound? Right? So, but when it comes to mind, people don't understand what they are talking. They think doing whatever the mind demands means you are in control. Right? But actually your mind is dictating. You are a servant of your mind. You are not in control of your mind. Right? When someone speaks like that, that means they are not in control. The mind is dictating their actions. Right? So, proactiveness. Stephen Covey has written a beautiful book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I did ask you this question, right, before? Some of you have read it, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. No? He talks about proactive. He says the first good habit is, actually that book is for managers, leaders, corporate leaders. So he says the first habit of a leader is always proactive. Now, initially I used to think that proactive means doing things before time. I thought that was proactive. But no. He gives a beautiful definition of proactive. What does proactive mean? Proactive means the ability to choose your response. That is proactive. Proactive means what? The ability in a situation to choose your response. Someone came and is yelling at me, right? Giving me some foul-mouthed words, right? I have a choice to use foul language and then give it back to that person. Or I have a choice to act in a manner by which the tension there doesn't escalate. Best is if I can make that person sober and make that person realize his mistake. That's even better, right? Then I am in control. That person is not in control anyway. He doesn't know what he's speaking, right? So proactive is the ability to control one's response. Because this world is going to constantly give us stimuli. World is giving us stimuli. Now the question is, how do we respond to that? So Stephen Covey says that is proactive. So if I have to give one biggest benefit of Bhagavad Gita is that Bhagavad Gita will make us proactive. It will give us the mental strength to choose our responses to very difficult situations in our life, right? Which can come anytime, right? So, at the very outset, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, you are not this body. Don't waste your human body simply in eating, sleeping, having sex and defending your false ego. Don't waste this human form of life. These activities are even done by animals, right? So, the conclusion is the goal of human life is to inquire about the permanent solution to the real problems of life and how to get eternal happiness. So that is the goal of the human form of life. And that brings us to today's session, right? On does God exist and how to know God, right? We concluded that science, technology, scientists are not going to give us answers to these questions. So somebody outside has to give us these answers. That's why people look to divine, something beyond the mundane, right? So today's session is, does God exist? And if He exists, how to know Him, right? To understand this subject matter of does God exist and how to know Him, can everyone see from there? This? If you can't, then you may move this side. People can move in front so others can move. So whatever. But yeah, ensure you are able to see it. Yes. Little bit Hindi. Okay. Okay. So आज का विषय है भगवान है क्या और अगर यदि है तो कैसे जान सकते हैं हम भगवान यदि है तो कैसे जाना जाए उनको Does God exist and how to know Him, right? Now we are dissecting this into 3. इस विषय को हम 3 पहलू से देखेंगे. First is universal principles that we see all around us that clearly show that there is someone in control. Universal principles. You don't need to study Bhagavad Gita for this, right? And the next topic we'll see is, part B of this is, what are the different ways of acquiring knowledge that we know of, and what is the way of acquiring knowledge such that we'll understand God and realize Him. And the third, if time permits, is we will define what is God. What is being God means? What does it mean? G-O-D, right? So these are the, this is the way we will dissect this topic today. So we'll start by discussing universal principles that point to the presence or an existence of a higher authority. I beg all your undivided attention today. Universal principle that point to the presence of a higher authority. Can someone read the first point? Any volunteer? Yes. Yeah, please. You read. Yeah.
For every urge, there is a fulfillment.
What does this mean to you? Let's have an open whole class discussion. What does this mean?
If I want to eat ice cream, there's always ice cream.
If you want to eat ice cream, there is ice cream, okay. But if you want to eat gulab jamun, there may not be gulab jamun.
Every problem has a solution.
Huh?
Every problem has a solution.
Every problem has a solution. Okay. Alright. That's what that means to you. Okay.
Prabhu,
Yes.
अग्नि जल आकाश वायु पृथ्वी जिसकी वजह से हम जिंदा है उसकी हमको एहसास होता है वही होता है गॉड इसकी वजह से हमारे जैसे सूर्य नारायण है वो प्रत्यक्ष देव है अग्नि देव प्रत्यक्ष है
I know it's going above your head. So I'm going to translate everything. Trust me.
हिंदी में ज्यादा बोलोगे तो ज्यादा है लेडीज बहुत सारे
That's okay. हाँ. Please बोलिए. आप बोलिए. मैं ट्रांसलेट कर देता हूँ.
तो कोई भी है इसमें जैसे अग्नि देव है वायु देव है हमने कोरोना में देख लिया कि ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिलने से कितने लोगों की डेथ हो गई तो ये सब देव है जो कि हमारा लुक आफ्टर करते हैं एवरी मिनट एंड ग्लोबल वार्मिंग एंड एवरीथिंग वी कैन सी
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Very good. Okay. Anything else? Anyone wants to add to that? For every urge, there is a fulfillment.
Are we talking about higher? So like breath, there's air, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Okay. To breathe, we need to breathe to survive. Everyone, nobody will dispute that. Even Albert Einstein will not dispute, right? To survive, we need to breathe. We need to breathe, and incidentally oxygen is available. How does that sound to you? Coincidentally, there's oxygen for me to breathe. Coincidentally, I sow an apple seed on the earth and then an apple tree comes out. Coincidentally. Right? Coincidentally, when I sow a mango seed, a pineapple doesn't come out. Coincidentally. How does that sound to you? Ridiculous, right? There is some order. Can we not see that? Coincidentally, we feel thirsty and coincidentally there is water. Hindi. I am translating in Hindi. हिंदी में एक गाना है जिंदगी इत्तेफाक है सुना है आपने ये गाना okay whole life is a coincidence right it was an interesting song but not true philosophically not true right so क्या सब कुछ इत्तेफाक है जिंदगी में क्या सब कुछ इत्तेफाक से होता है that is everything very random in life there is no order can't we see any order क्या ये इत्तेफाक है कि हमें ऑक्सीजन चाहिए और ऑक्सीजन है क्या ये इत्तेफाक है कि हमको भूख लगती है और ज़मीन से अनाज आता है क्या ये सब इत्तेफाक है दैट्स व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग फॉर एवरी अर्ज देयर इज अ फुलफिलमेंट कांट वी सी एन इंटेलिजेंट डिज़ाइन अराउंड थिंग्स दैट आर हैपनिंग हियर राइट हाउ डू वी सपोज आई वॉन्ट टू बिल्ड माई बॉडी राइट Where do I put the food? In the arms? Okay. Almonds and walnuts. Punch it in the arm. Because at the end of the day, it's the arms, right? Where do we put our food? We put our food in our mouth only, regardless of where it has to go. Correct or no? Right? Now, is it coincidence that there is a mouth? And then there is, what is that called as? The mouth taking. Doctor, where is doctor today? Okay. Dentist will be there. Dentist. Huh?
Digestion.
What is that called as? Esophagus. It goes down the esophagus, right? And then it goes to what? The stomach or something like that? Yeah. Right? So is this coincidence? Suppose I ask Dipankarji, the owner of this house, how did this house manifest itself? Can you please explain to us? By chance it happened. ये बोल रहे हैं ये घर इत्तेफाक से बना. ऐसे आ गया. Everything happened by chance. These lights all came just like that. So it's ridiculous, right? As ridiculous as that may sound is the theory that everything came from nothing, right? And everything is very random, right? I was on the freeway just now, right? In the freeway, what is happening? There are lanes. Is it coincidental that there are lanes, right? When I came out of the freeway, or when not here, there was a traffic light. No, there was no traffic light here. Thankfully, there was only a roundabout, right? But when I go back home, I'll see traffic lights. Is it coincidental that the traffic light is red or green or whatever? Or do you think there is an intelligence behind it? It's planned, okay? It's not that, oh yeah, the signal decided that, okay, sometimes it shows green, sometimes it's all about colors, different colors, it's a mood. No, there is some intelligence, there is some design over there. That design maintains order in traffic. Does it make sense? That intelligent design maintains order in traffic, right? So, similarly, in this world also, for every urge, there is a hunger, then there is food, there is thirst, there is water, we need to breathe, there is oxygen, right? And God is not even billing us for it. Have you got a bill from God saying that I gave you so much oxygen, you better pay up. You are a tenant of this body. You have to pay at least the variable cost of what you breathe oxygen. No. It is never God who bills you for your water. It's only South Yarra Valley water or whatever. They bill you. Correct? God never billed anyone for water. God never charged anyone for food. Right? He never sends you a food bill. We pay coals. But is coals manufacturing apples? Who is manufacturing apples? Coals. Does milk come from Woolworths? Does milk come from machines? Milk comes how? It comes from cow. And what does cow? Cow drinks milk and gives milk. Correct? No? No, I thought cow drinks milk and it gives milk. No, cow eats grass and it gives milk. Isn't that amazing that we need milk and cow is there for us to give us milk? And cow is not even eating milk, drinking milk. Cow eats grass. Right? The calves may drink some milk from it. But it eats grass. The grass is manufactured by Fonseco. Right? What is Fonterra? Grass is manufactured by Fonterra, correct? True or false? No, grass is not manufactured. Grass comes from where? Earth. Okay. Farmer must be manufacturing grass. Right? Farmers manufacture grass. No. They put the seed. Okay. So seed must be manufactured by the farmer. No. So where did it all come from? Okay, that's what we are talking about. Everyone understood? Yeah, obviously we are asking rhetorical questions. But yeah, there was a bit of sarcasm also in that. But for every urge, there is a fulfillment. We don't need to study big Bible or Quran or Bhagavad Gita to answer this. Just look around and you'll realize, right, that there is something which is supplying. It rains. Who asked it to rain? Who asked it to rain? Who ordained the summer, winter seasons? Is it human beings who are deciding that? If at all we are ruining the seasons nowadays with global warming. Have we done anything productive? Right? So that's a universal principle that points to a higher authority. Second, who wants to read? Go for it. Creation implies creator. Right? Suppose I see a beautiful car, a Maserati, on the road, and then it's parked, the owner comes out, then I ask, beautiful car, which company's car? Let's say I don't know Maserati. Maserati. Who manufactured? He said, no, he just manifested from nothing. It just came. Again, ridiculous, right? To produce one car, okay. to produce one car. There is a big company that is required. Big organization to produce one car. To produce one ball bearing which goes into the wheel of a car, another big company exists for that. To produce that ball bearing, one company is producing ball bearings, one company is a big steel manufacturer which supplies to that ball bearing company. And then that ball bearing company supplies to the car company. And then we have a car. So there is so much of effort and there is so much technology. People employ Oracle application, SAP, CBEL and whatnot. Service now. So many IT applications, state of the art IT applications just to produce that car, right? And we think that this whole creation has just come randomly, right? I heard many years back of a discussion. I don't know how true it is, but whether it's true or not, it will give us good insights. It is a discussion I was told. I believe it could be true because it spoke about two persons. I think it was Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton and Kepler. Sir Isaac Newton and Kepler, right? Both are very famous scientists. So it is said that once when Kepler visited Sir Isaac Newton's house, he saw the whole house was in disarray. You know what's disarray, right? एक बार जब एक साइंटिस्ट दूसरे के घर पे आया, उसने देखा कि घर में सब तितर बितर था. Everything was in disarray. What did he see when Kepler came, into the house? Then he saw that there were a lot of metallic parts. There was metallic spheres. You know what's a sphere, right? A round ball, metallic ball. Then there was chains and there was pulleys and so on and so forth, right? And then there were some guided metallic guides that were there. And then, but everything was strewn all over, right? So, Kepler was asked Isaac Newton, what is this? You have kept your house in such a disarray. Like a madman keeps his house. So he said, okay, why don't you join me for dinner tomorrow? He said, okay. So next day, when Kepler knocked at his house and when Sir Isaac Newton opened the door, he saw that whole arrangement was gone. Rather, where was it? It was on the ceiling. On the ceiling was a big central ball, a metal sphere. Around it there were all those railings. And beautifully all those balls were moving around that big central ball. Right? In a beautiful order. What apparently seemed very random and meaningless suddenly took a beautiful meaning. And there was order everywhere. Right? What is the conclusion of this? Everything came from nothing. Right? Somebody had to put all those things together and make that beautiful order. The sun and all the planets rotating around it in orbit. Right? Have you ever got an email from the sun saying that we are very sorry for inconvenience. We will be shut down for our annual maintenance program. There will be no light for the next. From the sun. From sun god. From sun corp you have got it. We are talking about sun. Right? Sun corp may do it. Right? In fact, last 3 days realestate.com is down. I have no idea. Okay? It says, oops, something went wrong. So, that the sun, just imagine if the sun says, oops, will we even exist? Oops. Right? It will be a big oops. Right? By the time we say oops, we'll be finished. It is said even if the sun goes out of its trajectory by millimeters, we'll be gone. Finished. Right? So there is a beautiful order. And the sun is giving light since God knows when. Right? Since the atheists know. Right? Since the atheists have been denying the existence of God, the sun has been giving light to them. They have been getting oxygen. Even those fellows are getting oxygen. They are also getting food from earth. Right? Even the atheists are getting that. The rain falls even on those suburbs where atheists live. Rain falls. Right? So there is, beyond this beautiful creation is a creator. Even thinking of the human anatomy, it's amazing. Medical science is still not even understood human anatomy after so many degrees from Harvard University. Right? We still don't understand human anatomy. There are ailments for which doctors don't know what to do. Right? But what a beautiful machine this human body is. If we just think about our own human body, are we doing anything beyond eating? Everything happens automatically, right? You don't have to give instruction. Press a button now, so that the digestive system works. Press 2 for nervous system. No, nothing like that. Everything it's a totally integrated system, right? It's an integrated system. Hands up if all integrated systems in your office work. One system talks to the other always without failure, right? Sometimes some batch program fails. All data is gone corrupt after that, right? To reconcile your balance sheet and P&L, it's a nightmare for a bank. Because I work in a bank, I'll tell you, it's a nightmare for us. Nightmare. If something goes wrong with general ledger, right? APRA will immediately come. OSTRAC will come. All these authorities will be finished. It will be in the newspapers. So, I remember because one of the first projects that I handled for the bank which I work with, and I was into the job and I was told that 6 years back NAB attempted this project and it was goofed up and it was headlines in the newspapers. And my boss told me, your neck is on the anvil. You better manage it properly. If you are given this instruction, you will get little nervous, right? Yeah, I was, trust me. Of course, it went well and we had a felicitation at MCG, right? Where everyone got awards. But it was the most stressful program, right? You can't go wrong. You're playing with the bank's general ledger, financial systems, right? You're finished if you go wrong. So, I was just thinking, it takes so many human beings, it's so much, and was I responsible for the project success alone? Who can say that? It will be arrogance if I say that, right? I was there because of my team, right? They work. So many human beings with so many talents work cohesively together to bring out something. And we think that this universe is just running randomly without any intelligence, right? Only a person who is illogical and unscientific person can deny the existence of something, some higher authority. That is most unscientific, right? Law implies lawmakers. Sorry, law implies a lawmaker. There are universal laws which have stood the test of time. The sun always rises in the and sets in the. Never has it happened. Something reverse has happened, right? Oh, there is a bug. We are putting a patch together. The upgrade will be available in 2 days. No, nothing like that, right? It's never happened. It's always happened in the same way. So there are universal laws which are eternal. They never fail. So if we think of these universal principles, just take a step back. We don't have time in our life. That's the problem. Because whole life we are engaged in what? Eating, sleeping, mating and defending. That's how our whole life goes. We have never spared a thought to take 2 steps back and look at our own mother nature. When we look at mother nature, you mentioned that point, right? About mother nature, right? Sometime back.
Possibly.
Yeah. When you just look at mother nature, you can't but help deny the existence of a supreme power, right? So, oops. Yeah. Now, to understand this higher power, how do we understand the presence of this higher power, who we call as G-O-D, right? How do we understand this? So, in our day-to-day life, all of us have cultivated knowledge. हमारे आम जीवन में हम, my Hindi is so bad, somebody has to help me. हमारे जीवन में हम ज्ञान प्राप्त कैसे करते हैं? हमने अभी क्या देखा? Just give me 1 minute to recap in Hindi whatever we said, right? What अब हमने क्या देखा कि हम सृष्टि को यदि देखेंगे तो सृष्टि जिस तरीके से चलती है उससे भगवान का अस्तित्व का जानकारी मिलता है हमें. ओके, वी अंडरस्टैंड द प्रेजेंस ऑफ अ हायर पावर, राइट? तो उनका ज्ञान हमें मिलता है. हमारा शरीर जिस तरीके से बनाया गया है, इतना सुंदर शरीर जो भगवान ने बनाया है, उसमें कोई ऐसा कैसे बोल सकता है कि भगवान नहीं है? क्योंकि हम खाना मुंह में डालते हैं और वो इत्तेफाक से थोड़ी ना जाता है कहीं पे. एक एक अंग हमारा डिज़ाइन किया है भगवान ने, तो वो हमने चर्चा किया। कभी भी सूर्य देवता कभी भी पश्चिम से नहीं उगता, कभी उल्टा नहीं हुआ है यहाँ वहाँ सालों सालों से, कभी सूर्य ने रोशनी देना बंद नहीं किया। तो हम कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि सब इंसान ने ही किया है और भगवान है ही नहीं? हम इस विषय पे चर्चा किया हमने। अब हम देखने जा रहे हैं कि ज्ञान हम कैसे प्राप्त करते हैं, इस भौतिक जगत में हम ज्ञान किस तरीके से प्राप्त करते हैं। इन दिस मटीरियल वर्ल्ड, what are the conventional ways of acquiring material knowledge? The first one, does anyone want to read? आप पढ़िए प्रभु जी, संस्कृत भी है, इंग्लिश भी है। अच्छा, वहाँ से नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, ठीक है, आप पढ़िए। प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण, ओके।
प्रत्यक्ष प्रमाण, direct sense perception, seeing is believing.
Okay. So one of the ways in which people are used to understanding knowledge is what? I want to see it to believe it. Because whatever I see is the truth. Right? But is seeing is believing? What are some of the examples that seeing is need not be believing? Examples in your life. There's no right answer. It's your example. Yes. A parent's love for their child. Can you put it in a bottle? Show me how many liters you love me. Okay, you can't see that, right? Necessarily. Yeah. But it is there. You can feel it, right? You can experience it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Where seeing is not necessarily believing.
Someone's pain.
Someone's pain. Yes. Yes. Someone else is suffering pain, but we are feeling that pain. Right? We are experiencing pain because we see the pain of our near and dear ones. Again, seeing. Yeah. Anything else? Whatever I see, only that exists. Whatever I hear, whatever I perceive, that is what exists. Nothing exists. Ultrasonic sound. What is the frequency of ultrasonic sound? How many megahertz? 20? I don't know. I forgot my science. Do you know what is ultrasonic sound? Everyone knows, no? Yeah. Ultrasonic. Human beings cannot hear. But which animal can hear? Dogs can hear. So if you whistle using that, dog can hear. Human being cannot hear, right? I spoke about the rat, whatever that I bought from Bunnings, right? I told Bunning, will it make noise? He said, no. The rats will run away, but you will not run away from your house. Right? Rather, he said that the panel heaters which we provide, they may make noise. But this machine will not make any noise. So there are animals sometimes have better perceptions than even what human beings have. So if we are saying human being has the highest perception of everything, that itself is incorrect. Right? So it's not that whatever I see, only that I have to believe. Right? There are things which we don't see. For example, I have not directly seen Donald Trump. Can I say that I will not believe that he exists in this world? Right? He has to be in front of me for me to believe. No, we do believe, right? So, the reason why I am saying this, now please hear carefully, okay? All of you have come to understand the basic principle of Bhagavad Gita, right? How Bhagavad Gita, what is the message of Bhagavad Gita? How does it lead us to God, right? God realization. The first step to learning something is what? Okay, I'm asking you a question now. Okay, I want you to tell the answer, but I'll throw it open. What is the first step to learning something? Belief. Very good. What is another word for that? विश्वास. ज्ञान प्राप्त करने का पहला सीढ़ी क्या है? क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Shraddha. The Sanskrit word is Shraddha. Shraddha means faith. Strong faith or some faith? No. Some faith. Strong faith will not come. Strong faith in God is the symptom of a very advanced spiritualist. It is not an entry criteria. What is the entry criteria? Weak faith. Some faith. Yeah. What is the entry criteria for a child to start walking? Walking perfectly? No. The entry criteria for a child is to walk imperfectly. The child will fall down 10 times, right? But that is how the child will learn to walk perfectly. So, imperfection is the beginning step towards perfection, right? Now, why did I say this? For example, how many of you go to a gym? Dumbbell, whatever, weights. Yeah, you do that, no? Right? Huh? You do that, right? Yeah. Aaron? Huh? Somewhat. So, I also went to a gym. Not now. Okay, now I go for other training. Okay, I go for something called as Kaiser training, which helps you, fix your... I go for fixing now, not for bodybuilding. But when I was young, I wanted to build my body. Why? To stay? No, to impress the girls. I am being very honest. Right? After the gym, directly we'll wear cut t-shirt and we'll walk like this. So that all the girls can see us. Nobody saw us, that's a different thing. Nobody cared. Who cares about how we look? Right? The girls were least bothered. Right? Anyway, we thought that we are impressing them with our abs and handsome Hulk going there. Everyone thinks he or she is. I also thought like that. Later on, my wife told me what it is. The truth. Not really. Okay, so when I went to the gym for the first time, that fellow at the gym, the instructor, he said, "You want to build your strength?" I said, "I want to build my strength of my hands." Okay. So he said, "You have to lift these dumbbells." Okay. So then I tried one. I couldn't lift because it was a little bit heavy for me. Then he told me, "Okay, you go for 2 kg ones." And then I could lift that. And then I started lifting. Suppose he gave me 2 kg dumbbell. And I said, "I can't lift it." Then he gave me 1 kilo dumbbell. I said, "I can't lift it." Then he gave me 500 grams dumbbell. Does one exist? Is there a 0.5 kg dumbbell? And then I said, "I can't." Is there? Oh, okay. And then he gave me 100 grams dumbbell. And I said, "I can't lift this." I can't even lift. I don't even have that basic strength to be able to lift something which will eventually give me more strength. Am I communicating? Right? So faith is like that. Faith is also like that. To start your journey of spiritual realization, you have to have some kind of faith. That's why we talked about observe the universe around you. You will feel, you will know automatically there is a higher power that is there. Right? So with this loose faith, what happens on top of that loose faith? What do you get? Knowledge. Then knowledge will further your loose faith and make it stronger. But simply knowledge will not take you to firm faith. Along with knowledge, what is the next step after knowledge comes? Practice. Nothing will come without practice. Right? I told you last time, if I just sit and say, "Oh, my dear map, my dear GPS, you have clearly shown me how to go from Melbourne to Sydney. Oh, my dear GPS." Will I go to Sydney? Okay, I'll keep the GPS in Dashara Puja on an altar and I'll do Jai Dev, GPS, GPS. Suppose I do that. I worship the GPS. I worship the GPS with bananas, with fruits, with incense sticks and with camphor. I worship the GPS. Will it take you to Sydney? Sometimes we do that. We take this sentimental approach towards spirituality. We think just by keeping the book and then rotating the camphor, we'll get all knowledge. Nonsense. Nowhere it is written like that. It's a myth. To study physics, what do you have to do? To learn physics, do you just do that? And then pray that hopefully I'll pass the physics exam? No, you'll never pass. You'll have to open that book and study it. Right? Right? Yes, you can do this as a respect to that book. But ultimately for you to gain from the book, you have to open the book and study it and do something practical in your life. Right? So therefore, the process of spiritual realization starts with weak faith. And then what happens? You get knowledge by studying the scriptures. You get that knowledge and then that weak faith becomes stronger. But then when you start practicing based on the knowledge, then what happens? That knowledge turns into realizations. And your realizations nobody can take away from you. Right? I have realized in my life that if I put my finger in a 22,000 volt, it hurts badly. I have realized. You will never put it again. Right? Better than saying, yeah, I have knowledge that if you put 22,000 volt, you will get a shock. That's a different level of conversation. But I have realized I am not going to cross the railway tracks. Right? I have realized because I saw someone being run over in front of my eyes. I have realized the pain when I saw his wife crying that I lost my husband. Right? When you see something happen, then there is something else that you get. Right? Sometimes it is said in Hindi, there is a word called Smashan Vairagya. You know that? Samshan Vairagya. When we are very attached to everything in this world, my money, my house, my car, right? Then sometimes at least go and visit the, what is that called as? Crematorium. What do you call that as? Is there another word here? Graveyard. Cemetery. Sometimes visit the cemetery. Okay. Cemetery is one place which has got continuous business. There is no risk to that business. You can buy shares of cemetery because it's a real problem of life. Common to all. Nobody can escape it, right? But what happens is, when you go to a cemetery, when you see someone going through trouble, then what happens? For a few days, what happens? Oh my God, I was chasing money, I was chasing fame, I was chasing power, I was chasing position. But one day, I'll be put in this coffin and then I'll be pushed inside that button. Boom! The door opens, you're gone. And then come out in the form of dust. When we see this happening, what happens? We get, oh, my goodness, this can happen to me also. This is what life is. At the end of the day, I was chasing all these things, but this is what it comes to. Everything comes to this. And then for next few days, you are reformed till the next auction happens. And now we present this beautiful property to you, ladies and gentlemen. The summer has arrived. You are in Port Melbourne, you are in Albert Park, the most premium suburb. I can see this beautiful, handsome couple over here. This house is meant for you. How I wish that you buy this house. And we start. Any bids? 2.3 million. 20,000 more. Why is no one talking? Come on, you look so handsome. You are beautiful. This is success. Come, I invite you. Just 20,000 more. This is yours. 2 million, 3,000, 20,000 more. Sir, you? 1,000, sir. 1,000 you want to lose this house? 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. And then some handsome Hulk comes in the car by that time. 10,000. Sold, selling. Gone. Right? Or we get it. And when we get it, what happens? And then what happens? Next day, what happens? Best friend, gone. You are in the crematorium. After all that property, that's where I'm going to lie. Right? And then you get again. So this is how what happens? You get realizations and you forget it. Because the material energy is so attractive, it says, come on! Don't be pessimistic, be optimistic, be positive. Be positive in life. We are not saying don't be positive, but be positive and realistic. Being unrealistic is not being positive, right? Understand realism and then work positively towards goals of life. That is positivity, right? Not negating something. Otherwise, the most positive animal in this world is ostrich. Because the ostrich is sitting like this, it knows the tiger is coming to eat from behind, but the ostrich refuses to see the tiger. It says that if I see it, it will be eaten anyway. Right? So that's not positivity. That is just stupidity. Ignoring the inevitable is not positivity. Right? So, I'll give you an example. There was one family, a very wealthy family. Father was a businessman, right? Made lot of money in life, right? Some business, some real estate business, something was there. And all the children were there. Now, apparently, hear this example carefully, please. In case you have lost my attention, any one of you. I am drawing your attention back because sometimes our mind can go dreaming somewhere. Right? I request your attention to this example. Please hear this example. Okay? Everyone with me? Okay? Okay. Who was I talking about? Quiz. To find out who is sleeping.
Real estate.
Yeah, there was a businessman who was very successful, right? And this businessman was all about money, 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 right? But his children, he had 3 intelligent children who knew about life. This is not the goal of life, Dad, what you are chasing. And those 3 guys were very spiritually realized. And they tried to tell their father many times, my dear father, please, understand that there is something higher than this in life. But the father was always interested in money, money, money. So they said, okay, we'll bring a wise sage. A wise sage they brought to their house. And they thought that the wise sage will be able to transform the father. So the wise sage had an idea. He said, I'll take your father to the cemetery, to the crematorium, right? And in India, what do? In India, we cremate the body. How do we do that? We give fire by hand, and then the body, we put stacks of wood, and then the funeral pyre is lit, and then So he took the father to the crematorium, cemetery. So the father came, he saw one body coming, boom, gone. Another dead body coming, boom, gone. Third one, gone. Right? One after the other it's happening. And it was COVID time. Right? So the father suddenly became very morose and very thoughtful. Very thoughtful. That man who was after money, 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 there was a very solemn look on his face. And then the children saw, yes, now father has realized. This is the impact of the sage. This is the intelligence of the sage. And then the children went to the father and asked the father, Father, now do you realize your mistake? Now do you realize where you went wrong in your life? And the father said, yes, I have realized my mistake. Children said, what is it? He said, I should have been in the wood business. Okay. I should have been a tradesperson of wood. Because this is regular business coming here. And then the children said, thank you very much. No wisdom can get into your thick head. This is the story of the businessman, right? So, to understand this knowledge and to accept this wisdom is not easy. I am telling you something right now with whatever limited understanding that I have developed over the years. If you are going to survive this program, it is by the Lord's mercy. If you continue, if you leave this, it will be the saddest thing. Not because I am giving class. If we don't take advantage of this program of understanding spiritual subject matters, then God will not give another opportunity. He gives opportunities only like this. He is not going to come with a flute in front of you, say that I exist, please believe me, pee, 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 pee. No, it is not going to happen. He does not come like that. He comes in this form. If we say, this opportunity, I am busy right now, he'll say, okay, businessman example. Right? You'll be busy, okay, you continue. One day there will be one wood for you also. Okay, somebody will arrange. Some business will charge you, your children for your funeral. Right? Here anyway you have no plan your funeral. What is that? You pay for your funeral in advance. Right? What kind of coffin the person is deciding. Can you imagine this? Somebody deciding what coffin. That person is not going to even know that that person has died. And they are deciding coffin. So this is how, illusion, calls us. And we succumb to all these things. Okay, I'll design my coffin. So, direct sense perception, our senses are imperfect. If we think that God is going to come in front of us and after that I'll start believing in Him, He'll say, to hell with you, I am not obliged to come in front of you. Can you call Scott Morrison, please? Who is the president now? Sorry, I forgot. Prime Minister. Yeah. What is his name? Anthony Albanese. Please call Albanese. Tell him I want to see him. Tell him I want to see him. Tell him Jagan is calling from Altona Meadows. If he exists, he come right now in front of me. Otherwise, I'll deny the presence of Anthony Albanese. Anthony, Jagan, I'll come. You please believe in me. Please believe in me. I'll come right now to Altona. Stop all the national programs, defense systems, financial, all of you stop. Jagan wants to believe in me. I'm going to go to his house. How does it sound to you? Ridiculous. He's a big man. He's not obliged to come in front of a bloke like me. Just because I don't believe in him. And I'm telling him, if I believe in you, come. So if you are going to wait for the day, for God realization, to think that through your eyes you are going to see Him, you can see Him. That's a different subject matter. I'll come to that later, but not now. We'll have to go through many lessons for that. Right? He will come. We all will be able to see. But right now we are not ready for it. We have to prepare our consciousness for Him to reveal Himself, His form to us. Right? It's a reward of practice, spiritual practice. What we are saying is that I have entered school, where is my certificate? Hang on. You have entered grade 1, you have to study till year 12, only then you will get your VCE certificate. You can't say I have entered school, where is my certificate? No, it's a reward for being in the process. Right? For developing knowledge, for developing realizations through the school system, it's a reward. You can't go and say, I want the reward first, then I'll believe in the school system. Show me the certificate first. How does that sound? So, therefore, spirituality begins with loose faith. And if you base your faith on this principle, saying that I'll put my faith on only things which I can see, then it's not going to go anywhere. Second way of understanding knowledge, usually we are used to experimenting in a laboratory. E plus x square plus y square plus z square is equal to God. Something like that. Can you by mathematical or by my mathematics or hypothesis or by scientific experimentation in a laboratory, can we understand God? And He'll come out of a test tube. Here I am. Do you believe that it is going to come? But through material science, can we know spiritual science? Through matter? Because we are not matter, we are spirit. There is a question of understanding spiritual science through study of matter. It's never going to happen. If you are thinking those guys over there, they are using, what is that? Something, what is that? God particle. By, banging some, by creating some reactor. If you think that you are going to understand God in that way, sorry. It will only, it's a waste of taxpayers' money, that's all. Right? God is not going to come. Did Jesus Christ recommend that method of understanding God? Please build a reactor and collide all the particles together. Did He say that? No. So, this is called Anuman Praman. Anuman Praman means speculation, speculating on God. I think He will be like this. Who cares about what we think? Or, if there is God, I believe He should be like this. If I have a manager in office, I believe he should be this. Does it happen that way? I believe in this. So God doesn't go by our beliefs. It is for us to believe Him. He will not align to the way in which we want to believe in Him. Okay? Because He is the absolute truth. And He will give us a process by which to understand Him. But we have to accept the process with some kind of faith. And then we will see throughout these programs, you will see that faith will keep growing, and then you will come back and say, yes, now I am beginning to feel it. Otherwise, why am I wasting time sitting here? Right? I could have also been in some pub right now. Right? Or some discotheque. Even I like music. I like dancing. Right? So why are we sitting here? Because there is something that is there in this process. Right? So, Anuman Praman, or simply hypothesizing, God cannot be understood in a laboratory. He cannot be understood through physics, chemistry or biology. No, not possible. Because it is spiritual science. It's not material science. Material science, yes, you can understand through matter, you can understand through material science. To understand acidity, you can use litmus paper. but you can't, and to see bacteria you can use microscope, to see Mercury or Venus you can use telescope, but you cannot send rockets to space and then say, God, where are you? It's not going to work. Even after so many years, we are hardly able to reach the moon, right? That too, most missions are unmanned, and we are talking about light years away planets, which we can't even realize in one lifetime, right? In many lifetimes we can't, right? So this is not the way of understanding. So if anyone is thinking in the next 20, 30, 40 years of my life, I am going to try to understand God in some other way, it's not going to work. These methods will not work. Why this will not work, these methods will not work, is because the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures say that there are 4 defects as human beings, all of us are vulnerable to. As human beings, we have 4 vulnerabilities, right? I am not saying every human being is vulnerable to every single aspect, but as human beings, we are vulnerable collectively. What are those 4 vulnerabilities? Who wants to read? To commit mistakes. Hands up if you have not committed a mistake. You have never committed a mistake in your life. Never. You did, no? Yeah. Hands up, I said if you have not committed a mistake. Okay. Right? To commit mistakes. That's why, what does it say? Humans are, what's the proverb? Humans are fallible. Right? Only God is infallible. Right? We all commit mistakes. Right? We have a tendency to commit mistakes. Okay. So we can't be called as perfect. We have a tendency to be what? Illusioned. Commit mistakes in Sanskrit is called Bhram. Bhram ho gaya mujhe. Bhram. Right? To be illusioned is called as what? Pramad. Bhram and Pramad. To be illusioned. For example, you have seen optical illusions, right? Let's try one. What's going on here? What do I do to go to the next slide? Very good. I'll do it with style now. Okay. Is there a black dot or no? Keep looking at it. Is there a black dot in between or no? Can you see, some of you see glimpses of black dots? Yeah? This is called illusion. We see that which is not there. And I'm showing you one optical illusion, that's all. If you put a stick inside water into a bucket, the stick looks, is it bent? When you drive in a desert, okay, even when you drive, sometimes in Australia also in the summer, you will see water ahead. When you go there, oh, it was shining, I thought it was water. There is no water, right? This is our senses. We are prone or we are susceptible to coming under illusion, right? Okay. The next is our senses are imperfect to understand higher realities of life directly. Our senses right now, including our mind, they are in a polluted condition, not fit for seeing the absolute truth. We are not there. And I'll tell you, I'll expand on this in future classes. Our senses are imperfect. And lastly, we have a propensity to cheat and theorize. I was talking to a university professor. Okay, I will not name him for confidential reasons. But he is one of the world's, he is right now in the world's top 10 or 20 scientists. Okay, would you like to see him? If you come to our temple, you will see him. Okay, he is amongst the world's who's who. He is a world authority, okay, scientist. I was having a chat with him, and he's a big faculty member at University of Melbourne, computer science faculty like that. So I was asking him, you take so many PhD students from all around the world, and this man, he lectures at MIT, Harvard, Stanford, IIT. He was recently in IIT Kharagpur. And he was talking to me last week. You were there, no? When we were sitting together and we were having a chat with him. So he has told me several times, this whole PhD business sorry, this whole PhD, awarding of doctorates, Nobel Prizes, it's not as easy as what the common man thinks it is. There's a lot of things that go behind the scenes, okay? Even in accepting a thesis, right? There is so much corruption in the education industry, right? In some countries it may be less, in some countries it may be more. I don't have to tell you about India, all of you know. Right? So, education industry is so corrupt that people who, if the professor decides to give PhD to someone, he can actually have in his powers to give it. Many times it happens like that. So, and we all have a propensity to cheat. Have you cheated in life? There you go. Right? What was that? What was that formula? A plus B the whole square is A square. Okay. Remember that? Yeah. Especially, there is a formula in mathematics. Minus B plus or minus root of B square minus 4AC upon 2A. The roots of an equation. It was very difficult for me during school days. Now I remember it nicely. But the roots of a quadratic equation. Right? So, people carry chits in India, I don't know whether they do it in Australia, I don't know, but people used to carry like this, here, chits, or under there, here. They'll pull out from here, okay, copy and put it back. Right in the hand, is it? Here, now, is it Australia you're talking about? I thought it happens only in India. I thought so. No, it happens outside also, okay? Alright, so, India is far better now? Okay, I'm proud always. Yeah. Far better means what? It's gone worse or what? Newer techniques. Okay. So, propensity to cheat is there in all of us. Okay. Okay. So, therefore, with all these 4 defects, we cannot understand. Have you heard of the story of this? Can anyone tell me what this signifies? This picture on the wall. Which story am I talking about? Think about it. You'll remember a story from your childhood. No one knows the story. Come on. इससे आपको कुछ नहीं पता चल रहा है हाथी को देख के बचपन की कहानी. 5 blind men and the elephant. You never studied this in school? 5 blind men and the elephant. What happens? Blind people were there. They were supposed to figure out what is going on. So one fellow said, this is a rope. He held the tail and concluded that it was a rope. One fellow held the trunk and concluded it was a pipe. One fellow held the legs, feet of the elephant and concluded they were pillars. Right? This is what happens when we try to speculate the subject matter of spirituality. This is not the way of understanding spiritual science. Do all of you know what is Vox Populi? Have you heard of this word Vox Populi in English? V-O-X, Vox Populi, P-O-P-U-L-I. Vox Populi means opinion of the masses. If everybody thinks this person is God, I will also start believing this person. I remember once when I was in India, in Pune, one of my colleagues called me. Okay. This guy had just bought a property in India. This may be a little bit out of the world for you, but it happens in India, I can tell you. Okay. He had bought property in one place in Pune. Okay. In that property, what happened? One day, his fan came down, ceiling fan. Boom. It fell down, right? And the blade was about to shear his neck, right? His wife was sleeping next. It just narrowly missed him. And so, I'm not going to, this is not a promotion for the program, but I was just telling him few days back, death can come anytime, please study Bhagavad Gita. And then he called me, Jagan, you told this few days back, yesterday I was going to die. The fan was almost going to chop. I said, what happened, man? I said, how did it happen? He said, I don't know, suddenly it came down, it was going to just, sever my neck. And then, okay, then I said, what did you do? What did you do about it? Okay. Then he said, actually, I know you were telling me about all these things, but first my instincts told me, I didn't know what I have to do. So what I did was, one of my friends came and said, there is something inauspicious in your house. Something is going on. So he said, okay. So then he told me, I'll bring a guru, a bearded fellow. I'll bring one fellow. Okay. I said, who is he? He said, some Baba. I'll bring this Baba to your house. And I asked him a question, why should I believe in this Baba? So he said, hey, even Milind Gunaji goes to him. Milind Gunaji was one of the, anyway, flop hero probably. But he was known for some movie, Devadas movie or something. He said, even that film star is going to him. Because that film star is following that fellow, I have decided to accept him as my guru or my teacher. Because he is having a fan following. This is called as what? Vox populi, opinion of the masses. So he invited this bearded fellow to his house. And what happened? This bearded fellow was very influential. So he said, I am inviting this fellow, and then I am also inviting all my society members. Whoever is living in my society, I will invite all of them, okay, to hear from him. So that bearded fellow, he sat down and he said, there is something seriously wrong with the Vastu in your house. Your house is looking very inauspicious to me. And then he went away after saying, he didn't give any solution. He said, pay me some 5,000 rupees or something, and we went away. After that he said, Jagan, I have been trying to put my property on sale, nobody is buying. Everyone in society is saying this is inauspicious house. There is some ghost living there. The simple thing was what? The fan was not fixed properly. Right? By whoever fixed the fan. Now what happens? We tend to stretch some material phenomenon so much. We add sentimentalism, all these things into that, and we complicate matters. Right? So this is the story of the 5 blind men trying to theorize and speculate and trying to understand something. It is not going to work. So therefore, the first knowledge which we get, how do we understand the subject matter of God? There is only one way. There is no other way. And if there is any other way, you try it and you come back. Okay? There is no other way. Okay? What is the only way of understanding? Shabda Praman, or authority of scriptures. There is no other way to understand the subject matter of spirituality. Authority of the scriptures, or the word or the sound of God himself. How does that reach us? It comes to us through a pedigree of saintly personalities who come in parampara, in disciplic succession. संतों का परंपरा. एक संत के द्वारा ही भगवान को जाना जा सकता है. संतों के द्वारा भगवान को और किसी तरीके से नहीं जाना जा सकता है. It can be only understood through the scriptures. How do we understand Christianity? By speculating. I think Christianity is like that. Who cares what we think? Christianity has come from who? Jesus Christ. So read the Bible. Then you will understand what is Christianity. If you start speculating, no, I am going to write my own Bible. God help you. Right? So we put our faith in the pristine word of God, which is called as what? Vedas. Veda means knowledge. So whatever we are going to discuss is going to come from Vedic truths and axioms. Right? We have to put our faith, and only then we will progress in this class. So today I am offering you a chance not to come from the next class. If you decide, no, I have my own way of understanding things, I will believe in my mind and I have other ways I am going to try, fine. Thank you for attending up until now. Today is your exit point from the class. Because from today, those who have faith in the scriptures will continue. Those who say, no, I don't want to put faith in the scriptures, you have an option not to do so. You will still get, God will still give rainfall. He will still give oxygen. But you will not see him in this lifetime or any lifetime, as long as you hold that. Right? So, putting our faith in the scriptures is the only way of knowing God. There is no other way. There is no other way of understanding Him. How do we put our faith in the scriptures? Why should I put my faith in the scriptures? Why? Why should I believe the scriptures? We will discuss in the next class. we will talk about the predictive power of the scriptures. Suppose I meet you for the first time, Ishanji. Suppose first time I meet you. I don't know anything. You have just entered the room and I just see you and I say, your name is Ishan. Okay. And I tell your father's name, mother's name, birth date, everything correct. And then I predict, Mr. Ishan, you are going to be the next Prime Minister of Australia. Initially, if I tell you, you may not believe. But because I predicted everything correct about you, then you will give me a benefit, a chance that yes, everything whatever he said was correct. So I tend to put my faith and I'll continue what you want to predict about my future. So it's the predictive power of the scriptures we'll talk about in the next class. So today's conclusion is what? We cannot understand the subject matter of God through direct evidence or through our material senses. We cannot understand Him through experimentation or philosophical speculation. We will have to understand it through understanding His messages which come to us through the saintly personalities. We hear those messages and we start practicing that in our life. And then what we will derive is realizations, and then you will start, He's starting slowly and slowly you will see that He starts revealing Himself to you in your life. That is our conclusion. Okay. So I'll stop here. Today is a very auspicious day of a very auspicious month. Does everyone know which month is going right now? Kartik month. Okay. Any spiritual activity which you do in this month, even the decision to study Bhagavad Gita, if you take this month the Bhagavad Gita in your hand, it will give you 10,000 times more benefit than if you would have taken the decision in some earlier month. Because this month is Kartik month, the most auspicious month of the calendar year. Right? In this Kartik month, we offer special prayer to who? To Lord Damodar. Lord Krishna is also known as Lord Damodar. Okay. We will discuss this pastime in another class, but right now, please understand in this pastime, the main idea of this pastime is a human being, his mother, his son, God has come as her child, and she is trying to bind her child to a grinding mortar. And as she is trying to bind him, the rope is always 2 fingers short. Right? What are those 2 fingers? What do they stand for? The first finger stands for effort and endeavor. And the second one is reward or mercy of the Lord. Unless I put my endeavor and effort, God is not going to give mercy. Effort is mine and mercy is His. In Bhagavad Gita, most Indians know this verse. Karmanevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Whether they know any other verse or not, this verse everyone knows. Right? And Paritranaya Sadhunam. These are 2 famous verses. What does the Lord say? He says, you have to do your duty and I will give you results. You cannot say, Lord, I will not do anything, you only give me results. No. So the basic message is, take your steps, your baby steps towards coming to me, and I will take 10,000 steps in coming to you. And if you take that step in this month, I will come to you faster. And how do we celebrate this month? By singing a beautiful prayer called as Damodarashtakam. It is a set of 8 verses. That's why it's called Ashtakam. It's very auspicious to do it. Don't only do it in this class. Every day if you can offer candles at your home to your photos of your Lord, right? And then if you can sing this in front of this, every day if you do it in this month, you will make tremendous spiritual progress. You don't have to believe me. Do it. See if it works for you. And come back and tell your story. But right now in this program, let's sing the Damodarashtakam. Yeah.